Welcome to the Big Hard Fact. 5 minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour, and we're going to be talking about River State. I'm waiting for my guests to join us. But while we wait, let's get into the meat of the conversation. Now, just before the weekend, we saw moves within or between Mr. President and the FCT minister and the suspended governor of River State to come to some sort of a truce in the name of peace or for the sake of peace. And the bigger question obviously is that, or many people were asking, is this really for peace, or that somebody won and finally taught, a particular party a lesson? Don't forget, some time ago, the governor was quoted to have said that, he's even tired of that seat. Are we even sure he will go back there? And some people said, well, that just might be frustration speaking. And the others said, well, he should leave it. I mean, it's not worth anything. But we did see that meeting that held between Mr. President, the FCT minister, and the governor. The fallout of that meeting was interesting, as the governor or former governor and minister said that, look, they have come to some sort of agreement and let bygones be bygones and everybody work for the sake of peace. Apparently, it did not sit well with a lot of people. Don't forget that when these things happen, people pitch their tents and, draw their swords, and they do not know exactly how to sheath it when the leaders of the factions or the warring factions decide that, okay, enough is enough, let's just, move on to brighter issues. There's still those who are still kicking and screaming about this whole arrangement. And there have been speculations as to what were the terms of the agreement, whether the governor is going to just serve one tenure and then go home and then they'll bring another person. Whether the governor has now decided finally that he's going to give certain amount of monies to settle boys. Don't ask me what that means. These are some of the questions that people have been asking. My guest is a former commissioner in River State. Unfortunately, we're still trying to get him to join us on the conversation. Let's hope that he's able to join us. But before we start that conversation, or before we have Mr. Nwibubasa join us, I would like to play you a clip of Governor Fubara today, I think from yesterday, where he talked about the fact that, what's happened is heavy, but that, it was done in the interest of peace. So let's quickly go to that video clip and play it. My guest is yet to join us via Zoom. I'm trying to call him via telephone to see if he is reminded that he's supposed to be in this conversation. By the way, we're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info. We're live on YouTube. This is Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. When we do return from this video clip break, hopefully my guest joins us and then we get into the conversation proper. But here's Governor Fubara speaking on the issue. And this video, I must tell you, is courtesy of News Central. Take a listen.
To yourself, not lying to yourself. The only solution is peace. I didn't say that there is no price that is too big to pay for peace. I meant it, and I am still ready to follow it to the end. Nobody can take away the throne by that plate. That's the truth. Yeah, we have our differences that led to this, but nobody here will say he doesn't know the role the man played. Nobody will say nobody can whiz away the risks he took. Yes, at the point we had our differences. And if today there is need for us to settle, please, anyone who genuinely believes in me should understand that it is right thing to do. Look at the projects that we initiated. Big road has been abandoned. Look at other things that we initiated. Without this crisis, by now I know where we have been. We know the progress we have recorded. We know areas that would have been remote of these things better than what it is today. So there is need for this peace. That is the truth. Like I said, it's heavy, it's bitter, but we must accept the situation and move on with it.
It's heavy, it's bitter, but we must accept the situation and move on with it. That is Governor Sim Fubara. My guest is saying that he's in the Zoom meeting, but I don't see him, and I wonder why that is. And he says he can see me. I don't know. Maybe we have to start. Babatunde, can we do this again, because my guest says he's here, that he's been admitted, and I'm wondering where. So what exactly is the confusion here? Well, let me just introduce my guest. Hopefully we can get him to join us. He is the former River State Commissioner for Empowerment and Employment Generation, Leloonu Nwibubasa. Unfortunately, I can't see him, but he's telling us that he's joined the meeting. I can't find him. I'm guessing that we'll have to restart the meeting so we can get him to join us. In the meantime, I'll try to get the commissioner on telephone to talk to us about what he thinks of this newfound relationship or truce that the governor and the FCT minister have come to. It's an agreement of sorts, and one would only hope that it will hold. I'm going to try to get my guest via telephone. Let's try to manage the time, because we don't have too much of it, while we try to fix what's happening with our Zoom. I don't know what's happening with our connections these days. If it's not YouTube, it's Zoom. Anyway, I'm going to try to get our guest to talk to us via telephone, and then we can get this conversation going. Mr. Leloonu, unfortunately, I do not know which Zoom you're on, because we can't see you on our interface. So we're going to end this meeting. Don't worry, we're going to try to do it because we can't see you on our end. So we're going to try to restart the meeting. But let's have you via telephone while we try to fix the Zoom. Welcome to the show.
You just ended the meeting on Zoom with me.
Unfortunately, we can't see you on the Zoom meeting. That's the problem.
I just thought the meeting has been ended by host.
We're going to try it again. We're going to try it again so that you can join us. I guess that it's from our end. I think we're having connection issues from our end. But okay. Let's start by, I played a clip of the governor talking about, the reconciliation and the setbacks, where they could have, how far development would have gone so far if these problems were not encountered. But he said it's sad, it's heavy, but they have to accept it and keep it moving. Are you one of those who would accept it and keep it moving? After all that has transpired?
Well, it depends on what the governor is asking the people to accept. When there are attempts of reconciliation and peace, as a leader, you need to open up that terms of reconciliation with your supporters. It is what they know that they will accept. They will not accept what they don't know. And so the question is, what should the people accept? Should we accept the peace of the graveyard when we don't know what deal is on the table for this peace to be sustained? So the government needs to be clearer to the people what the terms of agreements are. Because as of today, if we want to look at the etiology of this crisis, The governor told us very clearly that it was about management of the state affairs, both its politics and economy. Of course, the FCT minister was very clear on that he was not going to allow any person to usurp his structure. And so, if you have gone into reconciliation, is it that you have finally decided that you are going to hand over the state back to the FCT minister? So, what is the decision that has led to this peace? Are you now ready to allow the state to be run by proxy through him, and you will stay subservient to him? This is exactly where the fight started from. So what was the need for the fight if we are going back to that very spot where you told us as Rivers people that you will not govern the state on your knees? And then we are back at that spot. It is quite disappointing, I must say.
But there are those who actually say that, look, I mean, the Rivers person and their lives, their businesses have been disrupted as a result of this back and forth. And then at some point, a total stranger running the state. I mean, of course, we also saw the Risiek, a nominee for to run, the state electoral commission. All of these things have transpired, and the average Rivers person would say, well, if the governor is returned to his position, then maybe things can come back to normal, and maybe we can have our lives back. You don't agree with that?
Rivers people has always had their lives. As a matter of fact, just like you are aware, there was no reason for a state of emergency in Rivers State. We were not at war. There was no violence. It was a political disagreement. And of course, if this political disagreement today has been settled, as it were, tell me why there was even a need for state of emergency if the president could settle it the way he has done now. So the question is, what was really the core issue? What were the predisposing factors? Yes, we are bothered that a total stranger is running our own political structure and our economy. Yes, that is something we won't want to see. But at the same time, returning after this same war and fight, are we going back to that state? Are we returning to status quo? Where? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you turn on your video, please, so we can hear you?
So, looking at today, we have returned to status quo, and this is the same River State where the same man, the FCT minister, who has always wanted to lord over all, has returned to be the greatest beneficiary of the peace accord. Every speculated terms of agreement seems to be in his favor and the favor of his own group, leaving the rest of Rivers people asking, where are we at this point? The state is a PDP state. Today, the FCT minister is junketing between APC and PDP. The governor himself has moved over a sort of to also bow before the Mr. President. Where does that leave the PDP faithfuls? So we are coming into a politically fractured state by virtue of the decision of the governor to capitulate and surrender to the FCT minister. That has put us in a fractured state.
You keep saying surrender. You keep using the word surrender. Why do you think it's a surrender as opposed to a truce or some sort of agreement, a meet me halfway agreement?
Okay, well, let's look at it again. From the pictures, let's start from the visuals. Moving from Mr. President, you could see the FCT minister and other Rivers elders that were on the side of the FCT minister in this fight. You also will see all the members of the House of Assembly that was on the side, or that is on the side of the FCT minister? Could you cite the 4 members of the House of Assembly who were also part of, that were on the Fubara side? Could you cite any Rivers elder that were on the governor's side? No, you won't see it. So that already tells you the story that Governor Fubara has gone alone to do a surrender. That is the truth. Beyond that, the speculated terms of agreement clearly is obnoxious, where the governor is not meant to bring back any of his own chairmen. Of course, that has always been in the plan. What was the rush for getting the Rivers Independent Electoral Commission set up and fixing date for an election? It was simply to shortchange Governor Fubara and ensure that Wike returns all his structures at the local government level. So when you see a situation where we have been told that there is peace and reconciliation, first, for reconciliation to take place, truth and reconciliation are twin. What is the truth, or what was the truth of the crisis? Are we aware of the whole truth today? Beyond that, you cannot have a lasting peace without justice, without equity, without fairness. Was there fairness in determining who did what and who didn't do what? So these are the things we are talking about. So this window dressing, this wound dressing, this obvious neglect of the truth, and bringing in a gladiator to look like the winner does not in any way play to the interest and benefit of the Rivers people.
As a Rivers person and someone who's worked in government, if the roles were reversed and you were in Governor Fubara's shoes, how would you have rather handled this matter?
Well, clearly, Governor Fubara was on his rights. He was elected as governor of Rivers State by the popular votes of the people. And when he failed,
I'm sorry, Mr. Nwibubasa. There are those who debate that the president was foisted on the people of Rivers State. That he was not necessarily the choice of the people to start with.
Now, I agree with you. I was on the opposition in that election. But having gone through all the processes of the courts, and the court says, look, this man from the Supreme Court has been established to be duly elected. That is what the law says. We are no longer looking at the process that threw him up. So at this point, the law has established that he was the duly elected governor of Rivers State. It doesn't matter whether he was foisted on us or not. So it means that he had the mandate of the people. He had a generic organic support from the entire Rivers State. So that was the resource he had. So what did he do with that resource? That resource was supposed to be his defense. That resource was supposed to be the resource he should put in the front. It was not about him. If it was about Rivers people, like he has said, then that was what he ought to have done, and not to leave the people behind. I can say it here again and again, that Governor Fubara has said it in several fora, that if it gets to give his life for Rivers State to be redeemed, he will do that. So at this point, the minimum he could have done is to give his position, to show that instead of Rivers State going down the drain, this is my stand. We didn't see all of that.
So did you expect that the governor will resign? Did you expect that he will resign? We have to go on a quick break. Just hold that thought. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. We're still talking Rivers and, of course, the truce between the former governor and the sitting governor. We'll be right back after this break.
Talk, news, and sports after this.
Success is like an aeroplane. You only see the graceful flight high up in the sky, but not the roaring, powerful engines propelling it. Likewise, in the world of e-payments, you only see transactions done, funds remitted. But who pioneered these financial technology solutions? Well, you know it as Value Card, now Unified Payments, Nigeria's premier financial technology service provider. Yes, it starts here. Find out more at www.up-ng.com. Unified Payments, unifying businesses for people.
Feeling under the weather? Tired of getting sick? Immunase from Vitabiotics can help. Immunase is a supplement packed with vitamins and minerals like vitamin D, zinc, and selenium that support your immune system. With Immunase, you can boost your natural defenses and fight infections, reduce your occurrence of illnesses, enjoy faster recovery, and better energy levels. Immunase from Vitabiotics, trusted partner to keep you healthy. Available at pharmacies near you.
Every day is about winning with one play on Nigeria Info. On Nigeria Info, daily winnings is now over 150,000 naira. Just go to oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 #3#. Play with as little as 500 naira, and in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. The more you play, the better your chances of winning every day on the Morning Crossfire, WhatsApp Lagos, and Game On shows on weekdays, and the Football Frenzy shows on weekends. But that's not all. Every Friday, there will be a 500,000 naira jackpot. Playing during the week automatically qualifies you for the weekly jackpot. Your chances of winning are the same whether you play on oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 #3#. Remember to play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission.
Hey, yeah, now Rabi, with Orabi, my teeth strong, my mouth is fresh, it clean well, oh, now Orabi. Strong teeth Orabi, fresh bread Orabi, 24/7 with Orabi. Strong teeth Orabi.
Give on our teeth 24 hours protection. Use Orabi today. Na Nigerian Dental Association. Tanda Gidigba with Orabi.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4, with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
My name is Joe, and I have pistanthrophobia, pista for short. Basically, the fear of trusting people. For someone like me, it is really hard to choose an insurance partner. Then my girl told me, you better switch to Hares Insurance. I reluctantly gave it a try, and guess what? I have been on a roll. To buy an insurance plan, I just dial *1100# for fast insurance. If I want to file a claim, I just use the Simple Life mobile app, and I get paid within 24 hours. And that's not even the best part. I get discounts from hotels, spas, and other jollification places through their rewards program. So yes, I switched to Hares Insurance Group, and this my pista. The fear of trusting people is getting better.
What are you waiting for? Visit www.hairsinsurancegroup.com. That is HEIRS, or dial *1100# to get fast insurance today.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Millions Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
If you're just joining us, we're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. This is Hard Facts, the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimian Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. I'm Maryann Okon. My guest is a former commissioner in Rivers State, Leloonu Nwibubasa. He's obviously giving his take on what he thinks the situation of things are in Rivers State between the governor and his predecessor. The peace pact that Mr. President successfully put in place, of course, he's picking holes in it and saying, well, this is not what Rivers people actually want. Before we went on that break, I was asking, would you suppose that the governor resigned or stepped aside? Because when I started this conversation, I made reference to the fact that the governor had said at some point that he's even tired of that position, and many would have thought that he would throw in the towel. But then you're saying that he should have taken a stand. What stand would he have taken? And you also mentioned that he seemed to have been outnumbered at that peace meeting.
Well, clearly, like we said, the state of emergency is widely believed by critics of this government that it was unconstitutional and never followed due process. There are plethoras of litigation against the declared state of emergency. The governor had the opportunity to follow legal means to reclaim his mandate, and none of this was done. And so expectations are that you were removed from office illegally by the wrong interpretation of the Constitution and the high-handedness of Mr. President. And you had the opportunity to challenge it through legal means. Even your colleagues had challenged it in the courts. But there was no follow-up as to see this to the logical conclusion. I think Rivers State would have been happy that the governor has followed this through the process of law, and then we lose it at that point, and we said, okay, the system has been programmed against us, than abandoning all legal means to fight for your right, only to go back to kowtow to your ex-wild godfather.
When you say abandon all legal, I mean, there was a part that, people emphasized that he withdrew. And this was in adherence to Mr. President's first call that all parties should withdraw their cases and, seek other ways to resolve the problem. So are you pointing to that particular case and saying that the governor actually gave up on that particular case? Hence, there was no fighting chance for him legally? Because, if it's that, then that ship had sailed long time ago.
No, we had two meetings with the president. The one in which the peace process broke down, under which the governor withdrew all his cases, yet the other parties never withdrew. And that's why their case got up to Supreme Court, where they got that judgment that eventually reinstated the lawmakers who decamped to APC. And now you have a second situation where the Constitution has been misinterpreted, state of emergency declared, and your seat taken away from you. And we are saying that this is not constitutional. Even the National Assembly that affirmed the president's declaration did not also follow due process by voting based on the two-thirds that the Constitution spelled out. Rather, they used a voice vote, which was not the case to be done in the state of emergency. These are the things that need interpretation by the third arm of government, which is the judiciary. The PDP governors went to court to seek that interpretation at the Supreme Court. Governor Fubara has the right as a suspended governor to seek such interpretation by itself. There were other groups in Rivers State who also went to court on these same issues. What was the outcome? These are the things we expected the governor to follow, and not this way. So, like I said, he had varieties of options. When people said he had no option, no, the options are so many. And he is even seated in a position where he sees farther and knows exactly what he ought to do. Being in the position of the governor is not child's play. And so much is expected of a leader when this kind of issues occur. And we expected him to explore all those options.
Let's talk about going forward. It looks like now all is fair, all is fine, all is dandy, and that the governor obviously will return in no time, and the civilian uniformed man will be stepping away back to his base. But do you see this truce holding, this so-called truce or peace agreement, whatever name we want to give to it, holding till 2027? Is there a possibility of this matters never arising again? I mean, let's not forget the big elephant in the room, the assembly members who decamped and now have returned. The fact that, of course, you mentioned the local government situation, and then, of course, the funds of the state. Don't forget that the National Assembly has approved a budget that people are kicking against. I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of those things. Is there a possibility that there will be peace and quiet till 2027?
Of course, there will be peace and quiet in that camp. With the governor and the FCT minister on the same page, I do not expect any further breakdown of law and order between them, especially when it comes to the assembly. I have said before, our political system needs a whole lot of reform. Today, all members of the House of Assembly are people that the governor prided himself, the ex-governor prided himself to have bought forms for, including the governor himself. Of course, you saw it on several media where Barrister Nyesom Wike said, I bought forms for all of them. And so, if every person is under his dictates, of course, there will not be any crisis. And like I have said, you can't surrender and withdraw your surrender. So, I don't expect that. But going forward, Rivers people understand that in this peace deal, it is not about us. So to our tent, O Israel, and therefore we will seek ways to ensure that our state is redeemed and brought back to its pride of place.
Okay. Within the PDP, because you sound obviously like you're not a party to this so-called peace pact. You don't seem to agree with it in its entirety, and you might. Can we say that there are many like you who might also constitute a problem down the line for the governor in this seeming peace?
Well, the word constitute a problem is wrong. I don't see what you mean by. I don't understand what you mean by constitute.
So what
a
I
problem.
mean is, if there are people in the state who do not agree with the manner in which this peace has been achieved, and they think that, a lot of things would be working against them, the people of River State, and if you fall in that category, I'm saying, could it be a problem down the line for the governor?
Well, it would be a problem to him if the speculations that we have eventually become substantiated. If the governor has accepted to do a one term and not seek re-election, he definitely will not be asking Rivers people for their votes. But if he is going to ask Rivers people for their vote in 2027, the governor will never be trusted. I can say that.
Why?
Like I have said, the governor said, look, I am fighting because your resources is under pressure from external forces.
Mm-hmm.
and the same governor has handed over the resources back to the external force. So how do we trust you? The governor told his supporters, which he has told few days ago, that they should not even seek election to run for local government chairman, because by the terms of the agreement, his own structure, the simplified movement, has to be dissolved. So if there is no longer simplified movement, a structure that was generic for him, organically built for him, what is the hope of the, because people are in politics for particular interest. And if your interest is foreclosed, what else do you have? So these people cannot continue to be in a place where their interests will no longer be protected. So he has lost a whole lot of goodwill, I can tell you. People seem sorrowful in their houses that this has come to be. So it is a piece of the graveyard.
One quick question before I open up the phone lines. Lagos, you can be part of the conversation on Facebook. Post your comments on our live stream. You can join the conversation on WhatsApp. It's 08095975805. You're listening from outside of the country, you can call the same WhatsApp number. And the phone lines are open. But quickly, does this put a final nail in the coffin of the political career of Governor Sim Fubara in Rivers State?
Like I've said, a leader is someone you can trust. And as at today, not just Rivers State, but Nigeria needs a leader that possesses the will to be different, the courage to dare, and not the timidity to maintain the status quo. Rivers State needs a leader that understands that Rivers State's destiny is pregnant with significance and purpose. And therefore, the state cannot be allowed into the hands of those whose minds are atrophied with all forms of bigotry and prejudice. And that is our stand. And as at this action of the governor, he has completely removed himself from this description of who a true leader should be and what a true leader should do for the people. Leadership is responsibility. Leadership is to take the bullets for your followers. Leadership is to stand against obstacles. Leadership is everything. And so when people accept leadership, they must understand that the responsibility is huge. And so if you can't take it, then there was no need starting it in the first place.
Okay. Lagos, let's talk. 0201-277-0993. We're talking about Rivers State and the newfound peace between the governor who was suspended and, of course, the FCT minister. 60 seconds is all you have. Go straight to the point. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, Maryann, good evening.
What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Engineer Joseph, calling from Ikeja.
Go ahead.
Greet your guest in the studio. For me,
thank you.
Right from when this issue has started with the governor of Rivers State, with Wike, and even with the third party involved, who is Mr. President, I think he has lost it all from the beginning. Now that he has got to this point, I will say that he has the respect I have for him is no more, because he would have stood his ground and fight till the end. You don't chicken out at a case because of the interest parties, those involved, and those trying to rope you into a concocted agreement which you are not a part of. Okay. But because you just want to be there, and the people who you claim you govern, who you claim you are serving, you didn't take them into consideration. You didn't even take them into account of what is happening. Now you went alone and signed a peace deal.
I have to let you go because of time.
He has lost my respect, and I don't have any that.
Thank you very much for calling. Please, 60 seconds. Stick to your time so we can get as many calls as we can. Thank you very much. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello.
Hey, Miriam, how are you doing?
Good evening.
How are you doing, Jonathan?
Go ahead.
Miriam, there are some angles I need to point out. Your guest said the governor said the resources of the state is under threat. If you ask him to prove it, where they said to, can he prove it? That's one. Number two, Maryann, you also said the State House members have decamped. They have not decamped because the procedure of decamping states that they will read your letter in the House. The video that is playing around is not what the Constitution said. Having said that, I'm only supporting Wike in this case because when Wike was bringing Fubara out, your guest was not there. And let me say this again. Our reality as Africa and as Nigeria is what we are seeing. For me, Fubara will have applied wisdom all before now. And let me say this to your guest again. There are two damning judgments facing him. You should go and read it. Very insulting judgment that he will not escape it. So there is nothing he can do. If you are a politician, your guest should not be sounding like that. And let me say this. He too has his small spaces governing. I'm sure he's a godfather in his small spaces. And if you like it or not, that is our reality as Nigerians. That is my only issue here. If somebody has helped you in life, if you want to fight the person, apply wisdom in fighting the person. Simple.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, Mrs. Oboli. Good evening to your guest as well.
Yeah.
First off, I totally disagree because I love the stand of your guest on this issue. We can't all reason alike. Maryann, the kind of dirty politics we play in this climb is what has put us in this place. For how long will we continually bow down for godfatherism? We will say yes, because okay, so somebody bought form for him, allegedly, and then he should now be a slave or be a slave all days of his life.
But why did he take the form? Why did he take it in the first place?
I agree. I'm not disputing the fact, but that is what has put us in this subservient nature we have found ourselves, Maryann. There's a difference between, I want to make your guests understand one thing. There's a difference between a leader who is interested in the liberation of his people or their welfare and a ruler who lacks integrity and would give an arm and a leg, succumb to any terms and conditions just to get a share of the cookie jar. And that's where Sibileye Fubara has found himself. Let me give you a heads up, so in case you don't know. Fubara
5 seconds.
It is realized already. The people of Rivers State should expect his defection pretty soon.
Okay.
All that talk about him fighting for the people is just baldadas and mere lip service.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Boli, for calling. 60 seconds is all you have. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah. Good evening, Maryann, and good evening, your colleagues, your guests there. Let me just... Yeah, good evening. Please, Maryann, don't cut my call.
What's your name? You have 60 seconds. You use half of it to greet somebody. Continue.
Yeah, you said, okay. My name is Bless. First of all, to your guest, help me ask, okay, you should answer the question. What is it good as a leader to make peace? The reason why I said so, because from what he has said earlier on, he said that Fubara did not do this, Fubara did not do this, Fubara is just, let me say, bringing down himself from his words. But now, is it good as a leader? Because he said that he did not behave as a leader for him humbling himself to Wike. So now, is it good as a leader to make peace? He should answer that. Now,
your 60 seconds is over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bless. We have to take other calls. I did tell you, please stick to your 60 seconds. Don't use half of your time to greet the guest. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good evening, baby Maryann.
Good evening. Go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Godwin, calling from Lakwe. To be candid with you, I've heard from my friend Jonathan and your guest. Your guest has analyzed everything to the best. But unfortunately, the political standard SOP in Nigeria policy, especially under this current administration, is not being felt in your analyst position over there. Because it is a dirty game, it's a dirty system with people with dubious mind, people that does not have interest of the ordinary people of Nigeria in their heart.
So, and they gamble everything possible to see that they remain in that place at the expense of the new need of governance. So, Fubara has found himself in a state of dilemma that this is the only way for him to stand. Anything otherwise, he has Wike who does not know about the existence of other people and only to serve his godfather and whatever for his own personal way. How will he survive him? And we know the person that is up there who will know what
all right.
is.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. I really was waiting for you to land, but you didn't. Hello.
Hello?
You're not supposed to call the female line. You're a man. Don't call the female line. Hello.
Good evening, Maryann.
Yes, you're my last caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Emmanuel. I'm speaking to you from Ekwe.
Go ahead.
First off, about the caller who said Fubara is facing some court judgment that are damning, against him. I want him to know that Nigeria of today, people hand over court judgment to judges. Yes, I don't have evidence, but it is what it is in Nigeria today. Number two, Fubara is not a kid. Just as your guest said, if I am Fubara, I will resign. All these are pieces of the graveyard. I have told you, bring Angel Emmanuel, Angel Maryann, although Maryann said I should not mention her name, Angel Fubara, Angel whatever. There will never be peace. In the next 2-3 months, in fact, if this ceasefire lasts too long before the statement of similar Fubara, before the statement, there will be another brouhaha again. Good evening to you.
Thank you very much for calling. Mr. Nwibubasa, let me come back to you. Somebody was asking you as a leader, is it good to make peace? I think that's where you would respond. And then, of course, for everything that everyone is saying, they're saying if the governor really wanted to do right by the people, he should have resigned. In closing, we have just 2 minutes.
Well, I think all the listeners who responded, people spoke to what they are understanding. But clearly, I want to say that for any person to say that this is our reality, it simply means you've come to a point where you want to accept the status quo, whether it is right or wrong. And so Nigerians need to punch themselves of the mentality that because things are done wrongly, we must always abide by wrong things. That is a wrong philosophy, and that has kept our country where we are. Talking about peace, every leader seeks peace. Every person wants peace. But what kind of peace? What terms of peace? So people must understand that inside this word called peace, what is in the peace? The peace is that the state returns to status quo and the Godfather continues to feed fat from the state. That is peace. If Fubara never accepted that, then there will not be peace. Because you must look at what was the etiology of the crisis. So if the etiology has been settled, it means the state has returned to status quo and the man is now in charge.
I want to say thank you. Leloonu Nwibubasa is a former commissioner in River State, and it has been our pleasure hosting him today on Hard Facts. Thank you so much, Mr. Nwibubasa, for coming on the show. We're wishing you and Rivers people all the best in the next year. All right. Well, Lagos, I want to thank you all for being part of the conversation. It's been a very interesting one, but tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow we will be talking about the new tax bill. Of course, Mr. President has finally signed it into law. What do you need to know, and how does it affect the common Nigerian? I'll be having an economist join us. He's fondly called online banker on social media. He will be here to break it down so that we can all understand what we're getting ourselves into. My name is Maryann Okon. Don't forget to follow Nigerian Info on all of his social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Maryann Okon. That's MIMIEYO, or just search for Maryann anywhere. When I do pop up, please follow and say hi. We'll be back tomorrow on Hard Facts. In the meantime, the news comes up at the top of the hour with Yvonne Ohaifo. Bye-bye, Lagos.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.